So Thomas Merton, a Christian mystic, I love this passage, I read so many times. To an activist, do not depend on the hope of results. You may have to face the fact that your work will be apparently worthless and achieve no result at all, if not perhaps bring about results opposite to what you expected. As you get used to this, you start more and more to concentrate not on the results, but on the value, the rightness, and the truth of the work itself. And this is what's given to you as a bodhisattva, to plant seeds in the world, beautiful seeds, that you may not see blossom. Now there's a story that I love of a man named A.T. Ari Ratana. And Ari, who he's called, is the most celebrated and successful community organizer in Asia. Nominated for the Nobel Prize. He's got a lot of other prizes as well. He was a high school teacher in the fanciest prep school in the capital in Colombo as a young man, and also a very devoted practitioner. And he saw the great disparity between wealth and poverty in their country, as many places we might be noticing. And so he took his high school class out to one of the poorest villages, the lowest caste, if you will, to the extent there is in Sri Lanka. Not to go to help them, but to go be with them and learn from them, to learn how they lived, you know, to tell them, the kids, about their lives, but to learn about how the villagers planted and dug and got their water and did all these things. And he arranged in advance that the villagers would give these kids a big banquet, so that they didn't go in order to give something to the villagers. They went to meet them and learn from them, and they were honored by this banquet. It's a really beautiful kind of reversal of, oh, we're going to go and help these people. And of course they all fell in love. And the kids made a project to help them dig a new well and things like that. But they did it together. They didn't do it because these poor people need us to help them. And this was the beginning of the Sarvodaya movement that then spread from village to village until it has now encompassed more than half of the population of the entire nation. Building schools, building roads, digging wells. And as Ari says, he says, we're actually not that interested in building schools and digging wells. What we're interested in is teaching people to love each other. And the schools and the roads are the vehicle to that. So there was a terrible civil war in Sri Lanka until about 5 years ago. The Norwegians were trying to broker a peace treaty. And in the middle of those negotiations, Ari called all his followers together at this ancient temple Anuradhapura, and 650,000 people came, and this is in a country of 18 million people. And he stood up, and I remember because I was teaching at an event with the Dalai Lama, and I got to tell this story as I was teaching to the Dalai Lama sitting there, which made me very happy because well, you'll hear. Anyway, so Ari got up there, and he said, we're in a time of conflict and war, but if we're wise, we have to look for what are its causes. He said, the foolish look at the results, and those who are wise look at the causes of things. And if we look deeply, the causes of greed and ignorance and hatred go back hundreds of years. They go back 500 years conflict between Muslims and Hindus and Buddhists, 400 years of colonial oppression from various colonial empires that had taken over Sri Lanka, and 200 years of economic disparity between the rich wet parts and the poor dry parts. So it took 500 years to get into this predicament. I would like to offer you the Sarvodaya 500-year peace plan to get us out of it. 5 years of ceasefire, 10 years of rebuilding roads and schools, 25 years of learning each other's language and religion, 50 years of economic development plan to share the wealth from different parts of the island, and each 100 years we'll get a grand council together and see how we're doing and how to turn it in another way. And I think in 500 years we will be the island of peace that we want to be. And when I heard that story, I could almost have wept, because it was the voice of an elder. It was the voice of somebody who says, it doesn't matter what happens now, and I'm not going to live to see it. And I'm not worried about the latest poll numbers, and the focus groups, and who's going to get elected and what's happening. I have a vision that we all can follow that is true and wise, and however long it takes, this is the direction we're going to go. And the Dalai Lama loved it, of course, because of the struggle with Tibet for 50 more years not being able to go back. It resonated in a way that only can resonate when you understand that you may not be able to fix certain things, but you know what direction you're going.